Governor Simlai Fubara swearing in 23 caretaker chairmen for all the 23 local government areas of the state. So many issues that we've been discussing. I have been talking to lawyer, public affairs analyst, Fred Nzeako in the studio with me, as well as via Zoom, public affairs analyst, Alester Wilcox. Alester, let me take it up with you, for this second half. And it's also worthy of note to mention that the phone lines are open. They're open for our guests, for our viewers who would like to contribute their own thoughts to this conversation we are having in the studio. Okay, so I'm directed to take the caller who is on now. Daniel from Port Harcourt. Daniel, what would you like to say?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you. Please carry on.
Yes, good to hear the analysis going on. And then for me, as a Port Harcourt boy, I think these are some of the crises that we have. Crisis of one-sided. When we take issues, we look at it just one-sided. First of all, let me correct an impression here that the lawyer in the studio said. It is not true that any state has not conducted local government correctly. As of Kaduna State, Kaduna conducted local government elections back-to-back using beaver. In fact, PDP won almost about 4 or 5 local governments. So now, back to Rivers State. First of all, it is the PDP against the PDP in Rivers State. And unfortunately, the APC, somebody, like we say that the hand of Esau and then the voice of Jacob and all, somebody somewhere is using the APC against the PDP in Rivers State. And I have said this clearly anywhere I go to. I can be governor tomorrow. Anybody can be governor tomorrow. The man who occupies the seat as governor of Rivers State should be allowed to carry out the duty of the governor in Rivers State. How that a local government chairman would insult publicly a governor, a sitting governor, a commissioner in the cabinet of a sitting governor who refuse to take orders from that governor? And so for me, that is number one. The governor should be allowed to carry out his duties. Now, you see all of this that is happening is power play.
All right. Well, your point is actually made. Quite interesting point there. But Alester, I was going to ask you, and I think I should ask you, based on our last caller's position. He said that the governor is being hindered from carrying out, his duty. The reason why he's been elected into office as the governor. Do you feel anyone is, holding him back from delivering the dividends of democracy to the people? Because it is one way to also say that I'm the governor, and another way to find excuses from delivering dividends of democracy to the people. We've seen him inaugurated some projects, flagged off some projects. Do you think anyone is holding him back from, carrying on his duties?
Well, until 4 months ago, even the governor confirmed in all his public outing, and even on the day he celebrated Democracy Day, and on May 29, he said he's only been in charge for the last 4 months. Well, the emergence of SIM has given rise to this situation. I envisaged, but I never envisaged it to be this early. Because I know that in all the states, apart from Lagos, where godfatherism wants to play its role, it failed. People just thought Asiwaju Bola Tinubu became a godfather just by being a godfather. They don't know the underlying factors. And so they didn't learn well. So go to Abia, when the Ojis wanted to be godfather, it failed. Go to Edo, Oshimolean, it failed. So everywhere they tried to be godfather, it failed because they don't know the system. Now, so when Sim came to power, remember, even his chief of staff, somebody's chief of staff is the last man he sees before he goes to bed, and the first he sees when he wakes up, apart from his wife, was imposed on him. Commissioners were imposed on him. So that means his hands were tied. Because I saw commissioners making announcements, signing contracts, commissioner for works, and all the juicy positions. So he had that issue. So there was nothing happening in Rivers State till this crisis started. And of course, when the crisis started, you saw that Sim began to show that he has the capacity to rule. And let me also say that dividend of democracy does not mean building of roads and bridges. If it is in that case, then we should commend the military, because I think that maybe apart from Amechi's government in Rivers State, the military government of Oya Kilome, of other people, did far more than we are seeing in Rivers State, maybe apart from Amechi's tenure. What we saw during weekend was building of bridges and flyovers. That's all we see. But now SIM is trying to also build roads, Trans-Calabari Highway, so many roads that have been flagged up. But see, for me, that is not just the building of democracy. But he has done well with the civil service. For 8 years, for 8 years plus, the civil service of Rivers State was in comatose. People were not promoted, employments were not done to fill vacant positions, people were demotivated. I have brothers and family members who retired from the civil service, and gratuities were not paid, pensions were not paid. For 8 years, Rivers State civil service, the human capital development of Rivers State was in comatose. The health sector was in comatose. But you see, so that is, for me, that's the dividend. Last December, civil servants were all smiling. Promotions, area promotions has been done. Local governments that were not paying minimum wage, he has imposed on them to pay minimum wage, and they are all having a minimum wage. So
it's quite interesting that we are getting to hear this. It's quite interesting that we're getting to hear this, and we didn't get to hear it during the Wiki administration. But would you like to hold on? Alesta, would you like to hold on? We have a caller, George, who is calling in from Ikeja. George, the ball is in your court.
Good morning, Ibrahim, and good morning to the guests, especially Wiko. Wiko is a prominent son of Rivers State. I'm surprised that since the crisis started, this is my first time of hearing him speak on the matter. Now, to the subject, I don't agree that APC is the one that instigated the trouble in Port Harcourt. We were all here when Wiki and the governor had issues, had disagreements. The young leaders, championed by Pa Edwin Clark, came to the open. The first statement that old man made was, he sent a warning to Mr. President that he should warn Mr. Wiki. Is that how an elder should intervene? Instead of calling the client to the table and settle the matter. So the young leaders were the ones who were instigating the matter before it became worse. But elections, local government elections, is not a big deal. I heard Alex was saying he didn't have the time to conduct it. What does it take to conduct a local government election? It doesn't take more than a month. The governor has been there for over a year. If he knew that they were not going to accept an extension as legislated by the state State House of Assembly, why did he attend to the bill? Why didn't he conduct an election beforehand? Because he knew he could not win. Let us, be truthful on this matter. Both parties have, the APC is an opposition party in Rivers State. They are merely capitalizing on the crisis so that they can have their way in the next election.
Mr. George, let me quickly ask you this question. You say that the incumbent governor refuses to conduct election, especially before the last administration's tenure elapsed. But then others are saying that the chairman, the embattled chairman, were actually holding on to the offices for 6 months because they feel that maybe they are not popular enough. That's the reason why they are getting attached to the 6 months 6 months term that the.
No, it's not the initiative.
So the question I'm asking is that is it that the chairman that are afraid of running for election, or the incumbent governor is afraid of conducting election for his own people, whoever is popular in this regard? I'm not sure whether you get my question.
In my view, it is the governor that was afraid to conduct elections because he believed that if local government elections were conducted at that point, that as long as those chairmen were still in office, he believed that they are loyal to Mr. Wiki. And if he conducts an election at that time, he will not be able to win. Or if he knew he had this number of people that are protesting, that we are seeing on video, protesting now, and he has this number of people supporting him, why didn't he conduct the election?
Mr. George, your point is made. Your point is made. We need to quickly take a break now. Do stay with us here on This Morning.